Hello everyone, my name is Natalia Lauk, I'm pianist, and today I will be talking about Rachmaninoff's Second Concerto, which I'm performing on February 9th with Idaho State Civic Symphony. But first, let me show you around, because I'm at Vincent Performance Arts Center at Jensen Concert Hall, and the very concert hall I'm going to be performing at. And I should say this one is one of the best in United States, one of the best equipped and one of the most modern concert halls. So let me show you around for those who haven't been here. So this concert Steinway I will be playing on. So behind me, the concert hall itself. It's simply amazing. Do you see those sound panels? So this is adjustable acoustic. You can make the sound drier or more, with more reverberation. Breathtaking. I love it. So, a little bit about Rachmaninoff's Second Concerto. So musicians can stop watching that because I'm going to be telling mostly the well-known facts that at least every musician should know. But anyway, for people who don't know much about this concerto, I hope this little story about this concerto, its creation, is going to be a little bit useful, a little bit of insight. So this concerto gained reputation one of the most romantic works ever, and maybe even not serious work at some points, because at one point it appeared in a movie with Marilyn Monroe. The title is 7 Year Each. And the main character planning to seduce Marilyn Monroe was playing Rachmaninoff's Second Concerto. And in his dream, she reacts in this way. It shakes me, it quakes, it makes me goosepimply all over. And of course, in reality, they just playing chopstick because he couldn't play Rachmaninoff's Second Concerto, and they fallen off the bench as a result. So silly. As well, there is another story linked to kind of not seriousness of this concerto. American composer Eric Carmen, he stole or borrowed the melody of second movement, this one, and turned it into a song which called All By Myself, Don't Wanna Be, and has gained the reputation again of the most sappy romantic songs. However, I personally take this concerto very seriously, and to me it's a work of huge spiritual power. First of all, there's a well-known fact. Rachmaninoff music was often performed during the Second World War, or as it's known to Russian Great Patriotic War, basically in the trenches, because this music is incredibly powerful. It can raise the spirit. You cannot cheer the troops with Schomburg, I guess, or it's supposed to be very, let's say if it's a musicologist battalion, maybe you can cheer them with Schomburg, but Rachmaninoff goes directly to your heart and to your soul, and he dared to compose in romantic style in 20th century when classical music took kind of obsolete and dark and cynical direction, and sometimes very hard to perceive without special education. 40 or 50 years ago, Rachmaninoff wasn't even considered a serious composer, like, ooh, Rachmaninoff, so some snobs didn't really consider him a serious composer. Anyway, it all passed, and this concerto is one of the most well-known and loved and often performed. So the opening theme, the giant bells which you hear, Rachmaninoff actually spent all his childhood listening to those very bells, and this was a background of every Russian of those times, those giant church bells. So this is another mark of spirituality in this music. And even the theme of second movement that was turned into a song all by myself It has actually a lot to do with the Russian Orthodox Church chants and the opening of second movement. It's a Russian Orthodox choir. Right before writing this concerto, Rachmaninoff was in a state of deep depression, and he had a writer's block. He couldn't write anything. One of the reasons, I guess, was his disastrous premiere of his first symphony. Someone claimed that Glazunov, who was conducting the symphony, was even drunk this evening. Who knows? Maybe he was. And Rachmaninoff, he couldn't bear the shame of butchering his symphony, so he had to flee the building. He basically escaped. He couldn't stand it. He made friends with the great Russian bass and opera singer Fyodor Shaliapin. They visited together Russian icon of those days, at least of Russian icon of Russian intelligentsia, Leo Tolstoy, or if you want to pronounce it in Russian way incorrectly, Lev Tolstoy. And they performed Rachmaninoff's art song called Fate, which has Beethoven's Fifth Symphony motif in it. And after everyone applauded after this performance, because it was stunningly beautiful, Tolstoy didn't say a thing. And after a silence, he went on criticizing academic music, and he told Rachmaninoff that it doesn't make any sense. Beethoven doesn't make any sense, and you shouldn't compose any academic music, just a folk music, that's it. I don't know if it contributed into Rachmaninoff's depression, but that's certainly not the most encouraging thing for a young composer. So anyway, he was in this state when he couldn't write anything, and he went until he met Russian psychiatrist Nikolai Dahl, who treated him with hypnosis, and after that, Rachmaninoff basically unlocked something inside of him, and this music poured into the keyboard. That's how I feel about that. It's just unstoppable joy of life, great spirituality, and unstoppable joy of life. That's what is it to me. I hope you find some recording, because it's all over internet, and my personal favorite is Sviatoslav Richter. Although there's not a good quality recording, it's all very old and scratchy. But anyway, he performs in this certain nobility and without this over-dramatic romantic affection, which sometimes is linked to this concerto. So second movement is simply meditative. I want to invite you all to the performance on February 9th and come and listen to that. And you haven't heard this concerto, I hope you will fall in love with it, because that's exactly what I did when I first heard it. It's impossible not to love. Okay, so have a great day or night, whatever you have right now, and I'll see you on February 9th.